For example, the concept of the X-rays, the concept of gamma rays, we only know that we use this type of patterns of electromagnetic spectrum to treat cancer cells or to detect like cracks or like cancer diseases, etc. We also know about the ultrasound, that this is a sound wave of frequency greater than 20,000 hertz. So we only know about these basic information. So now in A2, we have advanced application detail related to all these topics, right? So
Okay.
first of all, we have concept of X-rays.
Do we also have like the concept of like MRIs and stuff? Like the CT scans and all?
CT scans, PET scan, MRI, ultrasound, all these applications are included in this.
Are are they like all the same thing except like the wavelength of each wave is just different?
Yes,
Like the penetration is also different, all of that.
yes. Only the type of formation, like how they actually generates and different frequencies, different wavelengths. These are the differences that we need to study in this. Okay, basically, first of all, X-ray is very commonly used application in medical, and we all know about it, that how X-ray normally works in our daily life. And in the topic of X-ray, we need to study about the formation, image formation, sharpness and contrast, etc., and calculations of it. So first of all, formation of X-rays. So basically, for the formation of X-rays, there is a concept just like photoelectric effect. In photoelectric effect, we know when we provide a specific frequency of light on the metal, so electrons starts to emit. But there is an also another way, that if we provide electricity, or if we provide high voltage to the metal, so there is also like called thermionic emission. So that can also emit out electrons from the metal surface, right? So the setup for X-ray machine, or like formation of X-ray, will take place like this. For example, first of all, we have a filament.
What what is like what was that type of emission? I want to write it down.
Basically, it is a filament material, and we are going to heat up this filament to get electrons from it. So we have AC source connected with it, right?
Okay.
And this material is heated filament, and we use electricity to heat this filament, right?
Okay.
Yes. And this side also act like cathode. And further, we have evacuated chamber, and there is a another piece of metal on the other side which acts like anode, because on left hand side we have cathode, on right hand side we have another like cool metal surface that works like anode, like this. And then we just complete this evacuated tube from here. And definitely we need to provide voltage
Okay.
So definitely left side must be connected with the negative one and right side with the positive to accelerate it. This side is positive. And the voltage provided by this source can also be like written as accelerating voltage because it helps to electrons to move forward easily or accelerate. Accelerating voltage. And this one is a metal which is working like anode. And this component is actually called X-ray window from which X-rays are coming out. And this glass material is for evacuated chamber. So this is the whole setup for the formation of X-rays. So the working or the formation of X-ray starts like this. First of all, there is a coil and we are going to heat up that coil so it will reach a high temperature, and we are heating by using high voltage source as we observe in the diagram. And then coil gets like a red hot type coil and it begins to emit electron, which is called thermionic emission, emission of electrons because of thermal energy or heating energy. And this accelerating voltage helps to move electrons in forward direction or like in a straight line towards anode so it can easily reach the anode. So the first thing is a coil of wire heated to a very high temperature.
So like when it's heated to a very high temperature,
Mhm.
what will happen is that it will like
It is just like, in simple words, if you consider the concept of evaporation. So in evaporation, what happens? We know that particles are on the surface, and if we provide them some amount of energy, so they starts to escape the surface. In the same way, electrons are available on the surface, and if we provide them energy, so they starts to vibrate with greater amplitude, and they leaves the surface of the metal. So we just need to provide amount of energy. And you know that there are different forms of energy and there are different ways to provide energy to the electron, right?
yes, okay, got it. So it's kind of like the photoelectric effect in a way. Like not exactly, but kind of.
Yes. There is only one difference on that. We are using light of a specific frequency and right now we are using proper voltage source. So this is the only difference.
Okay.
In the second part, the coil gets red hot and begins to emit electron. In short, it is called thermionic emission. And
So
then
one of them is photoelectric emission when it's for the photons, and then thermionic is for when they use thermal energy.
to emit electrons. Yes. Basically, in photoelectric effect, we are like actually studying about the photons. So that's why we are using light source. But right now, we are not interested in photons. So we are using a simple voltage source to emit out electrons.
Okay.
So accelerating voltage used to speed up electrons. So this is the concept of the electrons, that how electrons are going to be generated and how it is going to be travel towards this anode. So electrons are emitting from this filament, and they are going to strike this surface, and then it starts to reflect. And we are getting X-ray from this X-ray window. So this is the simple concept of X-ray, right? That how it actually takes place. And if we talk about kinetic energy, so definitely electrons are moving and they have kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy is actually converting into, so kinetic energy of electron. The one form of energy we are getting in the form of heat, and the other thing is the main purpose. We are getting X-rays.
Okay.
Yes.
So, like, wait, what is the main product? Like, is there more heat released or more X-rays? And like, which one is the byproduct then? Because
Basically, hmm,
it's like, whenever like the car is driving at high speed and then it slows down, they're always like, oh, like it's converted to this, but also like heat loss.
okay.
So like, is
Now
the
in
heat
Yes,
or
now
the
in X-ray, we have two different types of energies we are getting right now, like two main components we are getting in the output. And just like we studied in AS about photoelectric effect, so we need to include the concept from there also. For example, if we talk about X-ray in detail, like intensity of X-ray and hardness of X-ray, like if we talk about these two main ideas, like if the intensity of X-ray is high, so what we are getting in the result, what is the meaning of intensity of X-ray? And if we talk about the hardness of X-ray, so what is the concept of the hardness of X-ray? So by the word hardness or by the word intensity, in result what we are getting in simple words. So let's suppose if we differentiate between them. For example, we have X-ray, and on one side we are talking about intensity, and on the other side we are talking about hardness. So intensity means number of X-ray photons. So when we are talking about the intensity of X-rays, so we are talking about the number of X-ray photons. And secondly, when we talk about the hardness, so hardness depends upon the energy of an X-ray photon. Energy of an X-ray photon. And why we are getting photon? Basically, when electrons are moving towards the anode and when they strike the metal surface on the other side, so we can say when they strike metal target, they lose energy. And definitely, we know that according to the law of conservation of energy, energy can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. So definitely, this lost form of energy cannot be destroyed. It is going to be converted into X-ray photons, right? So that's why
Okay.
we are getting this photon concept over here, because when electrons strikes the anode side, so definitely because of high energy, we are using accelerating voltage that helps the electrons to accelerate or to like collide with the anode side with high speed. So it will give you X-ray photon with that remaining amount of energy. And now the intensity of the X-ray and the hardness of the X-ray. So intensity depends upon the number of X-ray photons. And further, if we break down these two ideas, so further we can say number of X-ray photon means it depends upon the number of incident electrons. So if there are greater number of incident electrons, so definitely we will get greater number of X-ray photons. So it depends upon number of incident electrons. In the same way, if we compare the hardness concept, it depends upon the energy. So hard X-ray means more photon in energy and we will get a smaller wavelength. More photon energy, smaller wavelength. And how we will get more number of incident electrons? Electrons are emit, but the incident electrons are different. The number of electrons that actually hits the metal plate on the other side, or in short, it strikes the anode on the other side. So it depends upon the heating voltage. If we are using greater voltage, so it will accelerate electron more quickly, and more electrons can strike the anode on the other side. So it depends upon heating voltage. And in the same way, if we compare hard X-ray with soft X-ray, so in soft X-ray we have less photon energy and greater wavelength. And if you
Okay, so
remember
for
the
intensity, it's the number of is
Mhm.
intensity kind of it's like it means the same for like how it's in photons as well.
Yes, the same thing we studied in a photoelectric effect. Just like in photoelectric effect, we use formula E is equals to hc upon lambda. So you can easily compare E with lambda. So if lambda is greater, so definitely energy is low. And if lambda is low, it means energy will be greater, because hc both are constant, like one is Planck's constant and other one is speed of light. So E and lambda both are like inversely proportional to each other, and we are getting same results in the hardness, like hard X-ray or soft X-ray. Soft X-ray means it has less penetrating power, hard X-ray means more penetrating power, right?
Okay, got that.
Yes. And one more thing, if we have heating, heating voltage increase, so it will give you intensity greater than, or intensity of X-ray increases. And if we talk about the hardness level, so accelerating voltage, accelerating voltage increases, hardness of X-ray increases. right? Any confusion in this?
Wait, can I just like recap everything which I like understood and stuff?
Okay.
So intensity is the number of X-ray photons. It depends on the number of incident electrons specifically.
Mhm.
And the heating, like the voltage which is used to heat up for like the like thermiotric
Fermionic
um
emission.
thermionic rate
Yes.
is the one which affects it. And then for hardness, hardness is the energy of one photon of the X-ray. So it's not the number, it's the energy of one.
Yes.
Would it be like the average energy, like the mean energy of one photon, X-ray photon?
Energy for one photon.
No, but like the average of one. Because like
Basically,
same, they'll be different, but like you'll find out the average and stuff.
right now we are not using any formula or not any value to write down the energy for any specific thing. So that's why it is not important right now to write down about the energies or anything else.
Okay. So
Yes.
the more hardened X-ray is, the more energy of the X-ray photon has. And when the energy is more, the wavelength will be less.
Yes. And
So they're
yes,
proportional.
correct. And
So
if
when the voltage increases, the hardness will also increase, and that will make the wavelength smaller.
correct.
Okay.
And if you remember that concept of electromagnetic spectrum, so from that electromagnetic spectrum, you can compare wavelength. So that will give you the idea of energy. Because as we discussed, we use the formula E equals to hc over lambda to compare energy. And for X-rays, we know that the wavelength for X-ray, like it will be average between 10 to the power 8 to maximum 10 to the power minus 6. Okay, so this is the range of the wavelength, and this will also change the value of the energy, right?
Okay, right.
So you can compare the value of energy by using the concept of the wavelength, right?
Right.
So this is the idea for the value of energy and the value of the wavelength. So this is the concept for the production of the X-rays, that how X-rays are going to be produced and how we will get the results from the X-ray. And further, we have the concept about, we already studied about the velocities of electrons and all these concepts in electromagnetism and electromagnetic induction. So we can use those equation directly. And further, there is a concept of the what type of results or what type of image or the sharpness we are getting from the X-rays, right?
Okay.
If we talk about those factors,
Wait, what does the like the chamber have? Is it like empty?
basically this is evacuated, so there will be no air particles and it will
It's
be
a
left.
vac
Yes, because we know
Is
that.
it like
Hmm.
is it possible to make a vacuum in this like on Earth?
Basically, it is not like 100% vacuum, but 99.9% we can make it vacuum easily, because now we have
Oh,
advanced, just like vacuum cleaner. We know that the working of the vacuum cleaner, that it starts to suck air particles inside. So if you connect with any specific water bottle, because you know that on water bottle we have only single hole. So if you perfectly connect with it, the vacuum cleaner, and you start that vacuum cleaner, so it starts to suck all the air particles from the water bottle, and water bottle starts to squeeze, because the atmospheric pressure starts to exert on that plastic bottle, right?
right.
And then we have two ideas. The first one is about the sharpness of the image, and the second one is about the contrast of the image. So if we talk about the sharpness of image, so sharpness of image means the boundary of image. Normally, if you like, if we are watching video on like any platform, so if that video is playing on very medium or low quality, so we observe a blur video, right? Because sharpness is not there. But if we are watching on
Yes.
like Ultra HD or HD version, so all details are perfect and all the pictures qualities are very sharp, right? So sharpness means we are talking about the boundary of the image.
Okay.
Let's suppose if you are getting X-ray of letter A, for example, if we are getting X-ray in result for letter A, and you observe that letter A or the borders of letter is very much thick. So it means that is not sharp image, right? And in normal cameras, when we are like taking pictures, so we also get blur image sometimes. And in blur image, you observe that the sides or the boundary or the outlines are very thick. So that will not give you clear picture. Like in normal cameras, we use that portrait mode, so it will focus on the main object and it blurs all other object in the background. So basically, it makes the sharp image of the main object and it decrease the sharpness and it blurs all the object from the background, right? So if we are
Right.
talking about the boundary of the image, so if we are getting clear boundaries, so it means we are getting a sharp image, clear boundaries. So we are getting sharp images. And if you want to improve sharpness, so what factors will help you to increase the sharpness according to this structure that we discussed for the formation of the X-ray. So in this setup, if we mention the concepts that with the help of these points, we can increase or like decrease the sharpness of the X-ray. So first of all, we need to use a small anode. So in the factors, we have a small anode. So when we are using a small anode in the setup, so you know in a small anode, there is like a specific area, and on that specific area, a few electrons or like the number of electrons strikes over there, and we will get very focused image from there, right?
Okay.
In the same way, a small aperture,
Aperture like hole?
yes, like in mobile phone cameras and normal DSLR cameras, we know that there is a central eye in the camera. So in mobile phones, that eye is very, very small. And now in new phones we have three, four, two with cameras given. One is like
Yeah.
a depth camera and the second one is the normal one. So that depth camera is for like portrait modes normally, again for the sharpness to get like clear portrait picture. So that is called aperture.
Okay.
Or we can use lead grid between body and X-ray sheet. So these are the factors that helps you to increase or improve sharpness. Right? So these are the factors for the improvement of the sharpness, right? And one more thing, when we observe any X-rays, or like if you observe practically in the hospitals, like when they are taking the X-rays, So they are using also like a dark background. Let's suppose if they are taking X-ray of elbow, so they place a black board on the backside of the elbow, and then we place that elbow in the front of the X-ray machine, right? So it will give you a high contrast image of that bone, or we will get high contrast X-ray in simple words, right? Because contrast means the difference between the black and white color, because X-ray is completely black and white, there is no other color used in the X-rays. So let's suppose if your X-ray is not very much clear, so there are two possibilities: either sharpness is not present or either contrast is not good. So we discuss about the sharpness. So if you are getting very thick edges or the thick boundaries of the bone, so it means that X-ray is not sharp. But if you are getting very, very sharp image, but there is very less difference between black and white, like white is not very much white and black is not very much dark black. So it means contrast is low, right?
Can you like make it high with the filter?
With the help of filter.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, if right now we have a black background, right? So if we use a white color on it, so it is very much clear on a black color, right? But if we use different shades like this one, we have another shade, third one, and we have another
It's
shade.
the contrast is getting less because the
Yes,
the range between the two shades are getting less.
yes. So it will be very difficult to differentiate that which one is the bone and which one is the tissue. So this is actually called contrast, right? So the first one is giving you a better contrast as compared to all other options. So
But in
this is,
X-ray, isn't it usually like the bone is very white and then like the things which are
yes.
like the muscles or stuff, they're like grayish and then the background's black.
Yes. So let's suppose if they are using very old machine, and that machine is not maintained, and they are not maintaining it on like monthly, yearly, or whatever they required maintenance. So definitely you will get very less contrast and very less sharp image from that X-ray machine. But if the machines are well maintained, so definitely you will get both results perfect in that machine, right?
Right. Should we rejoin?
So for contrast of image, as we already discussed, this is the difference between black and white color. Difference between black and white. And to like increase the contrast or to get better contrast, what we need to do first of all, we need to increase exposure to the X-ray. Exposure to X-ray increase. So there are two ways to increase exposure. The first one, either we can use intense X-ray, or second, we can increase exposure time. Let's suppose if X-rays are not strong, so you can like place object in front of the X-rays for longer time.
Exposure would also allow it to like get more like detailed image as well and like more light, I guess.
Yes. Because we know when X-ray passes through the body, so only the bones are the part of the body that remains, like X-rays cannot pass through it, cannot penetrate through it. So if you like get more time under that X-ray, so it will make the other sides around the bone very much dark, and bones remains like prominent in that dark region, so you will get better contrast, right?
Yeah.
Or the second option is to use dark background, because we know X-rays are also harmful, so more exposure will harmful for the body. So another best option is to use backlit screen.
So that would like increase like
So it will
the
also give you, yes, because your background is already dark, so no other light is coming from the background, so it will give you greater contrast, right? So these are some factors related to the X-rays, that how it produce and what are the features that we need to know about the contrast and the sharpness. And one more thing in the X-ray is about the graphical representation, because we studied about sharpness and the contrast of the X-ray. So there is also a graphical representation, and with the help of that graphical representation, we can also relate that how we can identify from the graphical representation. And then we also have X-ray intensity calculation formula. So that formula will help you to calculate the intensity of the X-ray beam.
Okay.
Yes. So if we talk about that graphical representation, or we can also call it characteristic peak. So in characteristics peak, we know that we are talking about intensity and wavelength. So on one axis, we are going to mark intensity. On the other axis, we are going to mark for wavelength, like this. So on y-axis, we have, let's suppose, intensity, and we have X-rays wavelength on x-axis. And from photoelectric effect, we know that there is some minimum amount of frequency, wavelength, or energy is required, right? Just like in photoelectric effect, we studied that minimum amount of frequency or energy is required to emit electrons from the metal surface. So definitely we are not going to start from the zero. We are going to start from the cutoff wavelength, right? The minimum value at which we are going to start our graphical representation. So it will be like this. And then we have a slight peaks over here. And then this graph declines like this. Then we got some more peaks, and it continues so on. So why we started from there? This is lambda naught. This is the cutoff wavelength, because just like the information from the photoelectric effect, we know that there is some minimum amount of energy or value is required. So this is the minimum value for the wavelength. So this is called cutoff wavelength. And this characteristic represents sharp characteristic peaks. And rest of, we have a curved line. We have either peaks or a curved line. So this curved line represents continuous distribution of wavelength.
Okay. And is this like normal distribution or
Yes, it is
irregular?
like a normal distribution in electromagnetic spectrum. We know that there is a continuous spectrum. One after one, we have different range of the electromagnetic components given. But right now we are only talking about X-rays, and we mentioned that there is a range 10 to the power minus 8 to the 10 to the power minus 6. So in this range, we got continuous distribution, right?
All right.
And further information is required for this graphical representation. So we can say that electrons of metal excite and then de-excite, producing photons of X-ray. Secondly,
This is kind of like another phenomenon. I forgot what it was, but the exciting and de-exciting.
yes, it is like the same thing as we discussed when electrons are going to strike the anode. So initially they are moving with high energy, but as we discussed, when they lose energy, So that loose energy is going to be converted into the X-ray photons. So the same thing we are talking about initially when they got energy, so they become excited and they leave the surface of the metal. And when they strikes the anode, so they lose energy and they again becomes de-excite.
Kind of like in chemistry and transitional elements because
Yes,
of like this
same,
whole thing. Get the
same
different
thing.
colors.
Yes, this is also the same idea. When we got energy, so it jumps up to the higher energy level, and then after reaching the exciting state, when the particle is not able to maintain their energy according to that level, so it becomes de-excite and comes back to its normal ground state, emitting up the photon, right? So the same idea. And some photons are hence produced in a greater quantity. From coil and of metal anode. So this is some correct basic characteristics for the X-rays, or the graphical representation for the characteristic speaks of X-ray, right?
Right.
And secondly, if we talk about the intensity, or like if we want to calculate the intensity of an X-ray beam, so how it is possible? So if we discuss about that, intensity of an X-ray beam.
We can calculate it.
Basically, we can first we are going to write down the journal formula of it, and we discuss what are the factors we are using. And let's suppose if you got any questions, so we can calculate with the help of this formula, right?
Okay.
Intensity of an X-ray beam. So in intensity of an X-ray beam, we have formula I is equals to I naught, like initial intensity and final intensity is equals to exponential mu x. And what are these factors? So first of all, we have I, which is final intensity. I naught is the initial. And this mu symbols represents absorption coefficient. And x is distance moved in the tissues. So normally, if we consider any muscle, so normally what happens when initial intensity of X-ray is moving towards it? So initial intensity is moving, and then we have a muscles. So let's suppose this is the length of the muscle through which the X-ray are passing through. So this is equals to X, and then final intensity will be equals to, after passing through the muscle, is I. And if we talk about this mu symbol, So this mu symbol actually gives you idea. In simple words, it is called absorption coefficient. And further, it gives an idea that how much energy or intensity is absorbed per unit meter by a tissue. So this gives an idea of how much energy or intensity is absorbed per unit meter by a tissue. So how much energy or how much intensity is absorbed by the tissue? So that can be represented by this mu symbol, right? And let's suppose if we decrease the length into half, so that factor is called half value thickness, half value thickness. So it is the length of material required to decrease the initial intensity by exactly half. Required to decrease initial by exactly half. So if we need to find out the value for the length, that how much length we require to decrease intensity exactly to the half of its initial value. So we can also calculate that value very easily. For example, initial formula we use I equals to I naught mu x, and the final intensity is equals to the half of original. So half of original means 1 over 2. I naught is equals to
Is this kind of like the half-life? Because I just did this in nuclear physics when we found out the half-life, and I feel like it was kind
basically
of like
this
this equation.
we can say that it is also looks like the half-life, because half-life is also the same time in which the original value decreases to the half. And if we want to find out that at how much length, like it is passing through the muscles and different tissues, let's suppose, and we have different lengths also, and we need to find out that at what length we will exactly gets the value of half intensity. So it is also like the same idea related to the half-life, but that is related to the radiations and this is related to the X-rays, right? So it can cancel out I naught and I naught, and it will be equals to 1 over 2.
1/2 equals, and then you take the len, right?
Yes. So
And
first
then
we
you're left
convert it,
with like 0.693, I think. 0.6 something.
right. So we can switch s into the denominator to make it a positive, and then we can take ln on both sides. So it becomes, and then it becomes equals to ln2. So by using this equation, we can also find out the value that at which length or how much length is required to decrease the intensity exactly to the half of its original value, right?